Hello retouchers, so welcome to my channel once again. In today's tutorial, I will show you guys how you can retouch picture with an empty layer. Okay, so I will show you, there are different ways to retouch picture in Photoshop, and in this tutorial, we are going to covering how you can retouch picture and get amazing results with just an empty layer. Okay, so I will show you how I retouch this picture right here. This is the raw of this picture, and how I retouch this picture. Getting this, as you can see, this is before and after, and from this I get this melanin skin tone here. Okay, so we're going to take it step by step, from this to this, then from this to this. Okay, so I will show you guys step by step. Okay, so but before we start, I would love you to do me a favor. I would love you to subscribe to this my channel. Please subscribe and hit the bell button so you get notified anytime I drop amazing tutorial. Okay, so I believe you have subscribed. Now let's jump into the tutorial. Okay, so this is this raw picture right here, so, and this picture is on 8 bits. Okay, so I will not be using my all-in-one preset right here, but it's important you get this preset. Okay, so you can check the pin comment in this tutorial for the preset. Okay, or for this particular tutorial, I will still show you how to create the 8-bit frequency separation from scratch also. Okay, since this picture is on 8-bit, as you can see 8 right here. Okay, so we'll create 8-bit frequency separation, okay, for this picture. Okay, and to do that, we'll duplicate this picture twice, Ctrl J twice, or Command J. Okay, so, and frequency separation is just a technique we use in retouching picture. So the technique we help separating the low frequency and the high frequency. Okay, so let me explain. The low frequency is just the tone of the picture. It's made up of the tone of the picture, and the high frequency is made up of the textures of the picture. Okay, so this frequency separation will separate the tone and put it in one layer, and the texture will be in another layer. Okay, so putting them separately, making it possible for us to work on the tone without destroying the texture. Okay, so now this first duplicate right here will serve as our tone. That's the color of this picture. Okay, so here we name it tone, and this second duplicate here will serve as our texture. That's our texture layer. We name it texture. Okay, so now we turn off the texture layer and make the tone layer active. Okay, then we go to filter and to blur and to Gaussian blur. Okay, here in Gaussian blur, this is what you pay attention as a retoucher. So when you are working on and you get to this result, you just know that there is no particular amount of blur to retouch picture. It depends on the picture you are working on. Okay, so but this is what you will look after. Okay, you will check the amount of blur that will blur your picture, and you will still be seeing the textures. Okay, so now if I put this blur on 12, you can see it blocks this picture, but I'm still seeing the textures this way. Okay, but not that visible. Okay, so if I still put it on 13, same way, it blocks this picture, but I'm still seeing the textures, but not that visible. Okay, so now if you get to this result, it doesn't matter the amounts. If you get to this result, it is okay, just leave it there. It doesn't matter the amounts, because pictures differs, different megapixels or different qualities of pictures, some 8 bits, some 16 bits. Okay, so it doesn't have any specific amount. Okay, so now once you get to this result, you click OK. Okay, so this blur we apply here will help us in softening the skin while we are working on the tone. Okay, so, and now you make the texture layer active. Then you go to image here, then to apply image. Okay, so now here, under layer here, pay attention. Okay, so under layer here, you choose the tone. Okay, so because we want to subtract the texture from the tone. Okay, so remember, we want all the textures in this image to be in one layer. which is texture layer. So the tone layer will be only tone. Okay, so we choose tone because we want to subtract from the tone. Then the blending mode here, we put it on subtract. Okay, so the scale will be on 2, the offset will be 128. So once you get your settings this way, if you're working on 8-bit image, if you get your settings this way, that means you are okay, you are good to go. Okay, just make sure your opacity is on 100 also. Okay, this preserve transparency will not be checked, the mask will not be checked, the invert will not be checked. Okay, so you click OK. Now here you change the blending mode of this to linear light, okay, to bring it back to normal. Okay, so here you have created your frequency separation. Now this is the texture and this is the tone. So automatically every textures in this image now, they are in this texture layer, okay, and the tone is on its own layer. Okay, so now you can work on the tone of this picture using your mixer brush, okay, but for the sake of this tutorial, I told you guys we'll be working with an empty layer. So in case you are using a frequency separation preset and you find an empty layer, you will know what is used for. Okay, so here we create an empty layer in between the texture and the tone. This is the empty layer, so we can rename it whatever thing you want. Okay, so let's just rename it brush here, brush here. Okay, so now let's group these frequency separation layers together. Okay, so Control G. Okay, now we name it FS, which stands for frequency separation. Okay, so now we make the brush here layer active. Okay, so and before we start brushing here, we'll pick our mixer brush. Okay, so if you want to use an empty layer to work on picture, pay attention. If you're not brushing on and tone, this low frequency, the tone, you want to work with empty layer, pay attention. Okay, so here, make sure you are on soft round brush, and inside brush settings here, make sure your smoothing is checked. Okay, so this first brush, uncheck it. Okay, so and check the second brush. Okay, so make sure you are on custom, and here always make sure you are on clean brush. Okay, so this is wet, load, mix and flow. Okay, if you're a beginner watching this tutorial, if you're working, put your weight on 20 or 30, your load 20 or 30, your mix can be 0, can be anything, it doesn't matter, your flow 20 or 30. The reason why you don't need to increase it is because if you increase this, the brush will be flowing much and you might end up spoiling your picture. Okay, so you drop it down to the level that you can control while retouching. Okay, so I'm using 60, 60, 100, 60. Okay, so once you get your settings right here, now you turn on your sample all layers here. Okay, so you see some Photoshop, the right is sample all layers, you turn it on. So this is the icon here, you make sure that it's on. That is if you're working on an empty layer, make sure that your sample all layers is on. Okay, so now you turn off the texture layer. Okay, and you'll be seeing the picture this way, blur this way. Okay, so this is how the picture will be and you work on it. Okay, so now let's work on this picture. And remember, when you are working on picture, don't move the highlights to the shadow and don't move the shadow to the highlights. If you're working on the highlights, you remain on the highlights. If you're working on the shadow, you remain on the shadow. Okay, so let's work on this picture right here. Now, this is how you can work with an empty layer. You can see what I'm doing. You can see I'm circling. Okay, so you take your time. You can see I started from the shadow part and I still remain on the shadow parts. Okay, so that is how you can retouch and get the best result. And when you are using this pattern, take your, not just this pattern. When you're working at all, when you are retouching your image, take your time, okay? So this is how you can work with an empty layer. You can see now I'm on the highlight side and I remain on the highlight side. So when you're working on highlight side, you remain on the highlight side. When you're working on shadow side, you remain on shadow side. So, and when you are brushing and the area start becoming blur more, just know that the stuff is working. You can see what is happening here. You can see what is happening. Okay, so always make sure you check your results. So if you turn it on, if you turn the texture on this way, you do before, after, you can see that it is working. So this is how you can retouch with an empty layer. Okay, so this pattern required your time and paying much attention because it seems as if you are not seeing it well. So when you're using this pattern, you pay much attention on it and take your time. So this is how you can actually retouch with an empty layer. Okay, there are many ways to retouch. Okay, so if you're using this pattern, either you work on the tone or the empty layer. Okay, let's check. Okay, it's working. So always take your time. So remember, you increase and you decrease your brush size. Depends on the area you are working on. Okay, to fit in the brush. So let's check before and after. Okay, so let's keep mixing. We have to mix it to be more beautiful. Okay, so let's move to the cheek side. So one thing about using this pattern is you have to pay attention, because if it didn't master you and you are not seeing what you are working on, you might end up doing another thing. So always pay attention, because the blur will make it hard for you you might not see what you are working on. That's why you need to focus on pay more attention to it. Okay. Always check what you are doing. Okay, so before, after. So let's continue. As you can see, we are getting it right. So if you're watching this tutorial and you haven't subscribed to my channel, please hit the subscribe button, okay? So, and hit the bell button. And if you have a question, you are free to drop it in comment section, okay? And if you have a suggestion of the tutorial you want to see in this channel, please drop it in comment section as well. And also, if you haven't gotten this my all-in-one retouching presets, you can check the pinned comments in comment section for it, okay? So the all-in-one retouching preset will enable you to, it will make your work easier. You get a professional retouch with it, okay? If you're a graphic designer, it contains everything you need, both cartoon. If you want to get a cartoon picture, just one click will do it for you. And also if you want to color grade your picture, it has everything you need as editor, retoucher, and graphic designer. So guys, I don't need you to be bored, okay? One of my rules here is that I don't fast forward my tutorial. So if I make a mistake during retouching, I will love you to see it. I'm not hiding anything, okay? So there is no perfection in art actually. You make a mistake and you correct, and this is a video that you learn from. It's not something you hide. You hide some stuff from people that want to learn from it. So that's the reason I don't fast forward my tutorial. So as you can see, this is before, after. Okay, so let's continue. We still have a lot to do. So when you're working on the nose, you have to be careful with the nose. Okay, always work according to the structure of the face. Okay, so let's check before. after, before, after. Okay, so we still need to fix more on the face. We're almost there. Okay, let's check. Okay, so this is before and this is after. Before, after. Okay, you can see we've done a whole lot of work here. Before, after. Before, after. Okay, so the next thing we are going to do here in this image right now is to pick some of these stubborn spots that's still on her face. Okay, so, and to pick it, to make our texture layer active here. Okay, and pick our clone stamp tool, then zoom to the spots and sample from good side and use it to replace the bad side. Okay, as you can see, that is how you pick it out. So you take your time and pick any unwanted stuff from the face. Okay, so as you can see, we've picked all those stuffs out from the face. Now this is before and this is after. Before, after, okay. Before, after, okay. As you can see, it's looking more beautiful and realistic right now. So the next thing we are going to do here is to whiten the eyes and also pop out these stuffs that she applied here. She paints, okay. So before we do the skin tone, okay. So, and to whiten the eyes, I'll be making use of under this my all-in-one retouching preset. I'll be making use of my eyes doctor here. So I click on it. Okay. So always make sure your foreground color white is up, black is down. Pick your normal brush tool, opacity 100, flow 100. Always make sure you are on soft round brush. Okay. So if you are using the eye doctor, you just paint only on the white side of the eyes to clean it. So one good thing about this eyes doctor is that it will clean the reds on the eyes and also leaving the eyes realistic by leaving all the veins, okay? Those details that makes the eyes look realistic, it will leave it, but it will clean the red and other dirtiness on the eyes. So, as you can see, now, it is not white enough the way I want it, okay? So what I will do is to duplicate the layer, Ctrl J, and change the copy blending mode to soft light. As you can see, now it has become whiter the way I want it. And it is somehow artificial. So I'm going to drop the opacity to my satisfaction. Okay. Something like this is okay. Something like this is okay. Okay. So now what I will do next is to make these things that she paints active. Okay. So, and to do that, I go to color balance. Now this, I'll move this to magenta, move this a little red. Then I will hide it, Control I, okay, and pick my brush to paint only on this side that I want the effect to be on. Okay. So same thing I will do again for the yellow side. Go to my color balance and drive the yellow a bit. Then take this to this a bit, and also I move to the vibrance and add the vibrance a bit with a bit saturation. Okay. So I will group the two, Ctrl G, and add a layer mask on the group and invert it, Ctrl I. Okay, now I will paint. Yeah, I can as well paint this because of the vibrance to make it more dramatic. Okay, so okay, now this is looking beautiful. So the next thing I will do again is to add some highlight and shadow on the face. Okay, so making the shape of the face to come out. Okay, so here I have Dodge and Burn Curve, Dodge Glow and Glamour, Glow, Blush, Makeup Pop, but I'm not using here. Okay, so I will use this pattern. Okay, there are many ways you can do it. Okay, so here I take this highlight up here. Okay, so I double click here to bring this thing out. Then I move this underlying layer from black. I move it to somewhere around 80, or okay, yeah, somewhere around 80. Yeah, then I hold alternative here and click on this to divide it. Then take this side down to here. Okay, so I get something like this as result. I click OK. So what I will do next is I will invert it, Control I. Okay, then I will create another one. This time around, I'm taking this down. Okay, so here I will double click this side also to bring out this. Now this time around, I'm taking this underline from the white side to the shadow part. So I get somewhere to 180. Then I hold alternative and divide it. Then move it more. Okay, so I leave it here. Now I invert, Control I. Okay, so what I will do is to start with this. This will serve as my highlight and this will serve as the shadow. Okay, so this is another pattern you can use to do your dodge and burn. Okay, so now I make the mask side active on this first layer. Pick my normal brush, the opacity 100, flow 100. Now I will paint only the highlight side of the image. Okay, so I want it to be more dramatic. Only on the side I need the highlights to be on. Okay, so I want the highlight to be on this area as well. The highlight to be on this area as well. Okay, and the lips as well. Okay, so what I will do is I will either I drop the opacity here to my satisfaction, as you can see. Okay, I can as well double click this side and add more feather, but let's work with the opacity. So let me leave this opacity at 60 for now. Then this shadow part, let me paint on the side I want the shadow to be on. Okay, so I decrease the opacity as well. I decrease the opacity. So now let me group the two layers together. Control G. I can rename it highlight and shadow or dodge and burn. Okay, whatever thing you want to name it. Okay, so this is before, after. You can see the face is looking dramatic now. Before, after. Okay, you can as well drop the opacity if it's much. Okay, so this is before and after. Before, after. Okay, so now I want to add a little blush on the cheek. Okay, so now to do the blush, I will use under this my dodge and burn button. I have blush under it. Okay, so I click on the blush and add a little on the cheek here. Then add this side. Okay, as you can see, the effect is looking somehow reddish. So that's the effect of blush. If it's much, you drop the opacity more. And if you need it more, you can increase the opacity also. Okay, so this is looking fine. So, and what I will do is to use my selective color here. Is on yellow already. So if it's not on yellow, you put it on yellow. Then I drag this to this a little. So, And this is how I was able to achieve the first retouch that I achieved. Okay, so let me show you. Let me merge this frequency separation, Control E, then duplicate. Okay, so let me merge with this. Okay, so Control E. Okay, so let's start from beginning. Okay, so this is the raw picture here, and we did the frequency separation and did the skin tone, the eyes whitening, and the dodge and burn, and achieved this, as you can see. So this is before and this is after. This is before and this is after. So now from this, I duplicate this after, Control J. Then I use my all-in-one preset. I click on the melanin skin tone there. Under this, my all-in-one preset, like I told you guys, it contains everything. Okay, so all these are different types of retouch. Okay, so after that, you get skin tone button. Under skin tone button, you have different shades, different colors of different types of skin tone here. Okay, so now we're making use of this melanin here. So I just click on the melanin and achieve this. Okay, so that was how I was able to, let me image it. So that was how I was able to achieve this melanin skin tone from this to the melanin skin tone. Okay, so let's start from afresh. So this is the raw picture here. From this, we achieve this. Then from that to this melanin skin tone. Okay, so the picture is already sharp. Okay, so you can as well make it more sharper. Okay, so if you need. Okay, so now this is how I was able to edit this amazing picture right here. Okay, before after using an empty layer. Okay, so I told you guys that in this my channel I cover different types of retouching. Okay, so and if you are a beginner looking forward to learn how to retouch, this channel is the best for you. Okay, so my advice is for you to keep on practicing step by step, and don't be afraid to do a mistake, because mistake is part of learning. Mistake is a sign that you are learning. Okay, so practice over and over again so that you marry your Photoshop. Let your Photoshop marry you. Okay, so and if you haven't subscribed to this my channel, please subscribe to my channel and hit the bell button so you will get notified anytime I drop a new tutorial. Okay, so if you need any of these presets that I used, all my presets, okay, you can check the pinned comment in this comment section of this tutorial. Okay, or as well you can check my channel description. Okay, so thank you all for watching this amazing tutorial. If you watch to this end, you are a pro. Okay, so I love you guys and I will see you in my next tutorial.